Okay, we're on.
Hey, Lisa. So this is the fourth time that we've been connecting together with the energies and the presence of Mother Earth, Gaia. And so this is always very fascinating because, I really understand how we are holographic reflections of each other. And each of us carries the imprint, the codes, the fullness of Gaia within our own being, because the earth has her own systems just as we do. The earth has her own multidimensional bodies and experiences just like we do. So I feel like this is something that we are learning, how each of us is learning how to achieve and how to become a channel for this powerful field of light and presence. And not just understand and channel, but also step forward in a co-creation with her. Because part of the reason that we exist on this earth is to support her and to assist her, to be a midwife along with her in the creation of new species. And I know that's something that you've been very passionate about, and you've been going out in your meditations and receiving different codes and different different what did you call them? There's a word that you use.
The prime example.
Yeah, so it's like you're connecting with the prime example. Another word for this would be the blueprint or the template of different species on different planets and different dimensions, and bringing them forth so that we can all benefit. So one thing I see is that, in the past, we've been through a very slow process of evolution lasting for millions or billions of years, where humans were not so involved with it. Mother Earth was doing what she could based on what she could work with, the intelligences of the elemental kingdoms and the animal and the tree spirits. And now that humans can also be a part of this, somehow we can accelerate this evolutionary journey with her. So maybe one place we can start, you've talked about the 144,000 humans and what that means and why that's needed. And do you want to just connect with the presence of Gaia and then see what wants to come forth?
I'm here. The 144,000 are the original souls that came, that birthed here with the new earth, or with the earth. And they will go forward as leaders in this new planet. And they are leaders as they are master manifestors. And they will help the collective manifest. You are a very manipulated society. It's still their game here. You play their game. You want to play your game. And to do that, you must come up out of the dark manipulation that is going on for so long. I mean, from oracles in Rome, where they would give you quote unquote prophecy, to tell a vision. You have been manipulated. So you have to make your own world. And how you do that is to ignore. And everyone tells you to ignore the news, do not take that into your being. Don't give your energy and your money to things that you do not want to create, like war. Because that's what you're doing by giving money. You feel sorry for people in Ukraine because you're manipulated to feel bad for them. And you give your money and your power to that. You just keep it rolling. You keep it going. You keep their narrative in the forefront of your mind every day.
Well, they've become master manipulators. They know how to, you know,
They know
manipulate
you.
the threads of humanity to follow what they want you to do, to think what they want you to think, to do what, feels it's like we've become the cannon fodder of their agenda.
Agreed. And we know this, but we don't know how to get out of it. It's like the lid is off of the cat box, but the cat doesn't know it's free and can jump out anytime. And you can. And this is what you must do. But I am giving you help through the 144,000. They are the first master souls that were here. They remember how to do this. They know how to do this. We've cleaned the realm of reflection, if you want to call it that, that helps humanity manifest what they want. We've cleaned this out. This is clean for you.
Right.
And what Lisa puts in it is unity, harmony, and joy. And that moves out into the 144,000, into their psyche, into their minds. And what you do with that energy and what you do with that is your choice. I do not control, I suggest. And none of these things, unity, harmony, or joy, has an expectation with it. It is your free will to do with it what you want, but it is considered help.
Yeah, it's an enormously powerful field, I sense. So when you're talking about unity, harmony, and joy, it's not just what humanity thinks is unity. It's a field of unity that comes from beyond our time-space universe. And it's entering into the human collective, it's entering into the earth collective, it's entering into the universal field, in fact. So we're actually possibly moving into an evolutionary program that's never been seen, that's never been done. So, you talk about the prime example. So there's some of us here who are holding that frequency of the prime example for the human species. There's other species that are holding the prime example for various other animal, insect, bird, tree, elemental, Devic species as well. So tell us a little bit about this idea of the prime example.
There's a realm on this earth that is only for the prime examples. And the prime examples exist in its highest expression of its form, a goal for all of you, of all the, let's call you what Plato called you, particulars. You can be anything you want. You can select anything you want out of those prime examples of what you want to be. And the prime example allows for your choice. It even allows for you to go beyond that prime example. And that is my hope, that you even go beyond that prime example and create something that we have not even seen before, which is my ultimate goal for you and my ultimate wish and manifestation that I would like to create for you. So what happens is this is not just a singular prime example in a glass jar somewhere. This all elements create environments, and it is a perfect environment where everything gives to one another instead of takes. And it works like this beautiful symphony. And it's an example for you to follow if you want to create that on Earth.
So these codes are something we're creating. It's operating on many levels simultaneously, including the physical, including the cellular within our DNA, and also including within the mental and emotional bodies. Um, and you've spoken about how we are actually much more connected with the realms of nature than we allow ourselves to think.
You will have a new level of connectivity that you in this life have never really seen. And as I said from the beginning, you are going to have the keys to the planet. You will be able to create what I create. I showed Lisa how to create life. You'll be able to create life itself if you want. How you take this is an amazing journey for you. Where you take it is, of course, your choice. I can't stress the choice part enough. Where you take it is going to amaze all of creation. And we are expectant. We are joyous. We are happy. But you must come up out of this manipulated time. You must stop playing the game. It's your game now, but you don't know it.
Yeah, there's thousands of years of human conditioning,
Mm-hmm.
based on all those games, creating stories around war, around control, around, systems that manipulate rather than strengthen. And it's something that we're ready to let go of now. I feel
You are
like
going to be two worlds in one spot, two
mm,
worlds. And
mm,
it will be, Lisa asked me yesterday, I'm tired of paying for healthcare that just doesn't work and I don't get care. Well, there's going to be some choices coming up. If you like the old system, you can stay with that. But the 144,000 will be in key positions across the planet, and they will be making these systems. They won't work with the cabal. They're going to abandon that and make new. And you will have choices. You can stay with the cabal. You can stay with the control system. And maybe that's what some of you want, and that is there for you, but it will not, it will not be your only choice, because there are master manifestors and master creators coming online, so to speak, that will
so
have you.
these 144,000, I assume this would include people who are spiritually evolved, inventors, scientists, people who are in political leadership positions, but with a different vision and a new awareness of what's possible, a new awareness of unity, joy, and togetherness and harmony. And basically, people have been talking about a fair world order rather than the new world order. So it's a completely different perception of what's real, of what humans are ready for now. And then we can literally take evolution in our own hands. We can take healing and empowerment for humanity, for the earth, for all species of life in our own hands. So rather than being a destructive presence on the earth, we become guardians, we become co-creators, we become stewards of life. So say more about who these 144,000 are.
They are young people. They are not anyone over 30. They are incarnated here. They're on this planet now. They don't quite know who they are yet. They are just getting the idea these ideas of change, these ideas, this vision of change, this desire of, this doesn't work, I don't want this. And they usher in the new, and they will have, I don't want to say followers because it makes it sound like they're a cult, and they're not. They will have people that want to help support and manifest their vision rather than manifesting the old dying system. And it will die. The system has to die. I didn't
Yes.
come here and recreate all of this so that this system doesn't fall, but how it falls is up to each and every one of you. You may not be one of the 144,000, but it doesn't mean you don't have good ideas and good suggestions to add to the mix and to put in there and help support. I mean, you can have all the great ideas in the world, but if you don't have anybody to implement them or help you or support you in any way, it doesn't work. So you will be an integral part of that, whether you're part of the 144,000 or not. They don't quite know who they are yet. They just know they desire change.
Sri Aurobindo, who is one of my teachers, speaks about the sun-eyed children of a new dawn. That's his name for these new awakened humans that are being incarnated right now.
And they call them the holy innocent. There's lots of names for them. They call them the holy innocent because they have no karma. They are not part of the system. They will understand manifestation. They will understand these concepts. They will become innate. It will be their innate way of being. But people like Lisa and perhaps yourself, it is not our innate way of being because we have been manipulated and we've been indoctrinated.
Yeah.
But these
So
have an innate way.
So our generation is here to basically pass the baton to this next generation, to be able to nurture them with whatever they need in order to...
You were the teachers, you were the educators, you were the seers, you were the prophecy makers, you were the direction, the compass, you were all of that. And it doesn't mean that you won't be the manifestors in the future either. But it something has to come first.
Right.
And you have to take out the trash first before you renovate the house, before you strip the walls down. You have to, before you start building the new, you have to take out the old. And we're seeing the takeout of the old. We're seeing systems that just don't work. The legal system, the healthcare system, the road system, all these things don't work. These people do not know how to organize a
and especially
conscious society.
The leadership, the political leadership, the neolibs, the neocons, whatever, left, right, doesn't matter what we call it. But that old leadership is basically ruining this planet. They're destroying our ability to live in peace with each other, with the environment, with ourselves, because of their own agendas, and the Great Reset, as they call it.
And aren't you finding these agendas silly?
They are, absolutely. I mean, they have no relevance to what's real anymore. It's just, it's like an old program that's running itself to destruction.
Yes.
And that's the way I see it. It's like, they don't have reverse care. They don't have an alternative strategy. They're just going in the direction that they've been programmed, and they're falling off the cliff.
And you're looking at them very curiously, like, what is this? who are these people? Why do I need to follow this? Why do I need to go to work every day and just slave away for nothing? Why do I need to follow these ridiculous rules? And like, what can I do to change? These are going to be new ideas that come to you. These are going to be, this is what's going to build the new society.
Yeah. And I think the ridiculousness of these last few years, whether it has to do with the response to certain diseases, or whether it has to do with certain wars that are being fought or proxy wars that are being fought, more and more people are beginning to see the ridiculous nature of this. And they're waking up much quicker than they would if things were normal. And I see this is part of the reason.
You have no idea what powerful manifestors you are. Everyone is sick of COVID. We're tired of hearing about it. We don't want to give it any attention or power anymore. And now a lot of people are getting it. It's like a cold. We're not giving the power that we gave it to in the first place. I know that some people listening to this may think, wow, that's magic. It's not magic, it's manifestation. And they, the controllers, know how to work the manifestation system, and you don't. And it's as simple as that.
And now it's time for us to learn to counter.
Yes.
And to do it from an integrated and honorable perspective, where we see that
you need these leaders that you can get behind, that are someone that you can look up to. Lisa never liked the corporate world because she said, I never found anybody that I would want to get behind. I never found an example that I would want to be that one day. Well, these people will be that honorable example that you can get behind. They've done this before. They know how to bring a society around again. They know how to do this. They've done this before for other planets, and they know how to do this. And they will be the leaders, and they're going to hand it off to you, just like the dark is handing it to you now. They're practically handing it to you. I mean, you see the insanity, and you turn away. Turn
it's
away
the
from
Jedi
it.
Knights.
Yeah.
Right. You spoke about, last time you had said something about 2025 as an important turning point. Say more about that.
I give you no dates. 2025, no. I cannot give you exact dates. I can give you, yes, the wave of light is coming, and we're going to see how you do with that wave of light, and then we'll give you another. This is not an exact timing. This is how you do with this.
So it's an incremental process.
Yeah, I mean, and it's how you deal with it and how you do. We can't send you a giant wave of light and collapse society completely. You can't go back to the Bronze Age. I mean, too many people would die because too much stress and too much strife. And this is going to be an incremental change, and a change within your heart.
Right. Well, we're dealing with a lot of stresses and traumas based on some of the decisions that are being made by the controllers. So, for instance, one example would be energy. As a result of some of the sanctions that oil and energy has been cut off for much of Europe, the United States, Canada, and many other countries, many so-called third world countries are collapsing, like Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Bangladesh. So there's certainly there's two sides of this. The collapse is one side of it, and we're seeing that more and more. And we'll probably see a lot of that during the winter this year and years to come. Food shortages, heating shortages, chaos in the streets, maybe some level of a civil disturbance in many countries. We'll see the replacement of old regimes with new regimes, and hopefully someday with not a regime so much as an empowering leadership that can get people to discover new ways to come together, to
The hope
co-create a
is
new earth.
that you will reject the old. You can rage against the old, but what's that going to get you? I'm for the turn away part. Turn away, invent something new. You're amazing creators together. Invent something new. There are ways to produce energy. There are ways to have less. How much do you really need? How many cars do you need to drive? How many rings do you need to wear on your fingers? How many houses do you really need? You can only sleep in one bed. I think this drive to just have so much more and be more and do more, it's kind of killing the earth. And I think a shift in values will come about. There's two ways that evolution really is created. Evolution either is under stress, or evolution happens under stress, or an opening of new territory. And you will have both.
Yeah. Well, nature always works that way. As they say, necessity is the mother of invention. And whenever there's a crisis, that's an opportunity for new possibilities. And when we're dealing with an oil crisis, then new technologies emerge.
Well, if the price of oil gets so high that nobody can afford it, and the controllers get so greedy that they want to make massive profits off of it, well, what are you going to do? You're not going to use that oil. You're not going to use that. You're going to find something else. Yeah. And there are other things that are out there that have been invented that have been completely suppressed. And hopefully they'll do the right thing.
Yeah, I think it's happening already. It's starting to happen, and it will continue. And I think that's the hope of this time. The old system is collapsing, and the new system.
It's not easy to be here. I know it's not easy to be here. I know.
It's certainly not. No. And I've been going through a process for the last few months where I feel like everything I've ever done in my life, everything I've accomplished, everything I've learned, everything I've taught, everything I've read, everything I've known, is just falling apart. It's not relevant. It's not useful anymore. And so more and more, and I know this is true for many people, we're just being guided to withdraw from participating in the immediate outside world and just go through an incubation process, a cocooning process. There's something emerging. We don't know what that is yet, but it's happening. And I think there's a divine guiding force behind all this. And we don't need to understand on a mental level what this means, how it happens. We just need to trust, to surrender, to open, to become vehicles for this divine expression. And it's inevitable. It's, like you say, when it's time, nothing can stop it. And this time, the new earth is arising. So one question I have also, you said that there's 2 earths already in place. And we need to build a bridge from one to the other. And as we build that bridge, then the old earth begins to dissolve, and more energy moves towards building and creating the new earth.
There is two parallel ideas in consciousness. This is an evolution of your consciousness.
Mm.
It's not literally two worlds, but the world you make in one mind and the old world that you have created in this mind. The old world is falling away. The new world is being born, and it's being born in your consciousness. And ideas like unity, ideas like harmony, and ideas like joy are like égalité, fraternity, liberté. These are ideals. And you will let the old ideals, the corrupt things, fall away. This is not a literal splitting of actual worlds. You're not going to wake up in like a light body in a beautiful place. You're going to make that place. And you're going to be surprised how rapidly the earth responds to your intention. Very quickly. Because she is ever new. She is ever recreating herself. And you saw that during the pandemic. Even the dirty, filthy canals of Venice became clean. This whole planet can become clean. You saw it. You know this. You can
And one of
clean
the
this.
keys, you mentioned that it's within consciousness. It's not something outside of ourselves that we're building. We're building this new earth within our consciousness. And we have an idea. I think this is part of the old reality. We have an idea that creation happens outside of us, where more of the truth is that creation, we are not outside of anything. We are part of everything. And so as we become more attuned with that awareness, with that prime consciousness, then we can allow for that creative power to work through us very powerfully, very effortlessly, and like you said, very quickly. It's just a matter of recognizing who we are, as consciousness, rather than identifying solely with the outer human form and the outer human drama.
It's not to say that there won't be these magical moments that so many channels and so many people have described. There's heart openings, there's connections, heart connections that you will all make amongst yourself. There's telepathy. There's all these dormant things that are within you that will open, that will just aid you to do all of these things. You will think about how much when you were a child, people really talked about ESP, being able to tell the future. They were all really bizarre things. Like when Lisa was young, it was just something not to be trusted. And now we are finding that we all have this ability, that we all have these dormant abilities within us.
Right. And then we have all these beautiful, images in our media, like the X-Men, like Harry Potter, the wizards, the the Jedi Knights with the ability to access the force behind all things.
And
So
that
this is
works both
becoming,
ways. The media works both ways. I used media to announce that I'm taking back the 144,000. They're mine.
yeah.
And I use the media. So it works both ways. You can find that positive message in these films, or you can find the negative one.
Yeah, yeah. You said something about these ships that are becoming unveiled. So these are like light ships, maybe interplanetary craft that hold certain codes and keys for the evolution of species, or even the introduction of new species.
Every planetary system, our solar system, at one point in its existence, receives a visit from one of these. I hesitate to call it a ship. It is more of a consciousness. It brings life. It brings new ideas. It brings evolution. It supports a planet in any way that it needs support. It has repaired systems on this earth from very high consciousness beings that are on that ship that have repaired systems here. This comes, you don't see them. This comes. There are creatures on that ship, planet, whatever you might call it, that are able to appear here on this earth. There are creatures that are such high consciousness, they work on planets like watchmakers. And it's not something that's going to appear for us. This is an arm of the Divine Mother herself. And you could think of it as like a service station for planets. And this is, it gives them everything they need to succeed. And this is what's behind you. So why not get on board and think of those new ideas and think of new ways of doing things? Why not? This is behind you. This is such giant support for you. It creates the new prime examples. It created the consciousness of the new earth because her consciousness is broken. She sacrificed herself to do this for you. She allowed the controllers, as you call them, to rape this world, to show you. She allowed herself to break into pieces for you. So you could
So
see
this consciousness ship, maybe another dimensional reality that's imprinting on this one. You said that it can repair the systems that have been damaged. You're including ecological systems through pollution, through nuclear damage, through ozone difficulties, and so on.
right now they are busy repairing the higher executive functions of the earth. Like her basic consciousness was fractured, and some needed to leave, some parts of it needed to be restored, some part of it needed to be renewed. There will be a new crystalline system instead of a carbon-based one that you can reach for. There will be a lot of things. Those higher executive functions needed to be helped first. What you do on this level, like cleaning up nuclear waste, cleaning up plastic, That's yours to do. This is your house. You live here.
Yes.
And it's time to take responsibility for that house, or else you'll lose it.
Say something about the crop circles, how they, my sense is that they hold the keys through their geometry for creating new possibilities. So the geometry of these crop circles are part of the codes that are being introduced to humanity from some source, whether it's Mother Earth, whether it's the mental body of this planet, whether it's elemental creatures that are coordinating something with humans to evolve together. What are these geometries? Who creates these circles and why?
The crop circles are a basic communication of geometry. Everything in this plane and as below, so above, is based on geometric communication. Some of these crop circles are communications from extraterrestrial groups from one to another. Some of them are fake. And they are communications. They are left for you to find. And this will be disclosed as to what exactly these communications are. It's not an Earth thing. Lisa doesn't know about that much about it because it's not a communication from the Earth. It's from one extraterrestrial group to another.
Interesting. So it's awakening something through these codes that they're broadcasting. What I've experienced
It's
with
not
them,
good for you to stand in these circles. The radiation, it's not good. It's not good for you to be in these circles after they're made. Please don't go there. They're fascinating, I know, but they don't have a whole lot to do. They may be communications about the Earth sometimes, but it's more of one group to another group. It's more like a universal communication, like light language, or it's more like that.
Interesting. Well, you spoke about communication between groups, and we had talked earlier about the whales and what they represent for this earth. My sense is they are so attuned to global consciousness, to it's like the soul of the earth. They carry within themselves all the history, all the knowledge, all
They
the
do, you
potential.
know this, they do. They do, they pass it on like Native American elders pass on their histories to certain individuals, and certain individuals carry those histories with them. They communicate these histories to one another, and they do hold the history of the earth and the history of where we came from within themselves. They can communicate with stars. They navigate by stars.
Yeah. Well, I've had the experience of well, it's like a cellular memory that I can remember being incarnated as whales in other incarnations. And even in this life, I feel such a deep, deep quality of resonance with who they are and what they're here to teach us. You know, they've helped me to open up various inner states of consciousness, open up certain circuitries within the brain. And there's nothing I enjoy more than being in the water with them, or even outside the water by just communicating with them and through thought. So why do you feel like this connection exists? And have there been many humans who interchange between whale and human bodies?
If I am to access this information, I'd like permission to talk to your higher self.
Oh, yes, please.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
anything you want to say about that?
Lisa had one question for you before I do. She wanted to know if you have ever practiced telepathy among humans.
It happens almost without conscious intention, but it's not
Yes,
something
she received a message from you and she wasn't sure if it was you or not.
Okay.
So it was, but Lisa doesn't understand, like, what is this? I don't get it. So if you are, you're doing it in an unconscious way. Let's ask your higher self. Hold on.
All right.
Hello. What question do you have?
So if you're attuning to my higher self, maybe some information about why I'm here on this earth, what my role might be with the cetaceans, the whales and the dolphins. Also, what my own evolutionary purpose is, speaking as an individual human. I'm curious to know if there's a new phase that might be opening up, because like I said earlier, I feel like everything I've ever done in my life has come to a standstill and there's something new that wants to emerge. What is that?
You have had many lives as the whale species on different planets. And on different planets, they look very different than they do here. Here, they took a very unusual evolutionary path. You are recalling in a nostalgic way a life that was very connected to the planet. You know how to do this. You know how to connect with the planet. And that is much, much needed in the future. You know how to connect yourself and bond yourself to the one that you call Gaia. It's like you almost marry the planet. You've done this. You're here because you have this information, and you will make that huge, deep connection And you will be a way shower, teacher for that connection. You already know that connection. You're seeking that deeper connection now. You're shoving things to the side. That's more like noise to you now. And you're searching your blinds right now, and you're feeling your way into this. Feel your way deeper into the core, into the new. You know the old, you don't know the new. Make that connection with her. She is a vast consciousness. And if you make that connection, it all begins for you. You know this. The whale species has had an incredible connection with the planet. They did not want to evolve into this human disconnection at all. They did not want to. But you are that bridge between them. You can be that bridge. Hone your vast skills that you know you possess and ones that you don't know you possess, to make that connection. Take that time and allow yourself to become one. The energies will be here on the planet for that.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, this is exactly what I've been feeling. Part of the reason I feel like the human self is collapsing or the personal identity is fading is because there's a planetary identity being born. So it's like going through a cocooning phase and then emerging as a planetary self more than a human self. And I can already feel like bridging between those two aspects of being. And I feel like this is something many, many people are now beginning to experience as we connect out with other species of life, with the Earth herself, with the entire solar system or the galaxy or the universe. We are connecting with aspects of our being that are vastly more multidimensional than what we've, programmed ourselves to believe. And I can, I've always felt such a deep longing and connection with the earth as a living being. I've never seen the earth as something that we have a right to simply use, abuse, and walk over and treat as dirt. I've always felt her as a presence, as a living consciousness, as a mother, as a companion, and even as a lover. Because this is our, we are part of each other. And
you will help humanity make that connection. Like a physician, they say, see one, do one, teach one. You see it, you need to do it, and then you'll teach it. This is a whole new lesson plan that you will script for people. You have created awareness through your literature. Now it's time to become hyper aware. And this is within your being. You know this. You know how to do this. It will come to you. more consciousness, more heart openings will allow you the depths of being to do this.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You know, as you're saying that, it just feels like it just resonates on such a deep level. It touches me on all aspects of my being. And there's no other reason to be.
I, as your higher self, have such love for you. I have infinite love and respect that an aspect of me has come to such a boiling darkness to do this work. If I could say I was proud, I would say I was proud, but I do not have that audacity to say that. But if I could, I would communicate that to you, that I am proud of your service here and what you have accomplished in such darkness that could lead anyone astray. But you have stayed the course no matter what to your person, no matter what to your family, no matter what identity that you have been forced to put upon yourself, you have always stayed that course. And that is the source of my pride, if you want to say.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for that reflection. And it's certainly not easy. And I can speak for a lot of people, I think, when I say that, you know, those of us who are relatively sensitive find it very difficult to be in a world where there's so much insensitivity. And yet I think it's like, you know, through these dark nights of the soul, we find our deeper strength. Through the
You
challenges we face.
are the light bearer, you are the way shower.
Mm.
You are that. You will join with more parts of your soul group that have experience with this. You have forgotten your experience. You will remember. You will embody more of your soul parts, soul group on this planet, and you will have a remembrance.
Mm. And this is including human, but also including whales, dolphins, other species.
You will not see yourself as separate.
Yeah. No, as you know, the more I connect with the planetary self, with Gaia as part of my own being, you know, there's no separation between species. There's no separation between personal and universal, inside and outside. It's just divine presence unveiling itself in co-creation, in conscious creation.
You have been so many whale species, so many planets. You know how to do this.
Mm.
And more behind that, more other species. You have been many of those species. You do this a lot. Your soul group makes that connection a lot for planets. That's why you're here. You do this a lot.
I don't know how much I've been incarnated in the human species, because I don't have conscious memories of other human lifetimes.
You didn't need the human lifetimes. Lisa has many, many lifetimes that, because her mission was different. You didn't need that to do your work here. You needed to be like the Holy Innocent and not have blocks. You needed to be like that. And you do not have any more incarnations on this planet unless you personally desire. This will not be put upon you. It
It's
has
not
been
something
difficult for you. It has been difficult for you here. You don't, there's so much you don't understand as being a human. If I may say, the outsider's point of view has been yours.
I don't really care so much if I'm incarnated on this planet again or not. What I do care about is that I can align with the evolutionary impetus and support the creation of the new earth, support the emergence of the new human.
You will not only align with this earth, but you will also connect the earth, be that bridge to other planets as well. You will connect with all of your other whale species on the other planets. You will help the earth become a multi-dimensional, not multi-dimensional, you will help the earth become a planetary unity. You will not only help bring unity to humanity, you will also help with planetary unity as well. Because all planets at a certain level are all in unity. And you will decide when you want to leave the planet, you will decide that you will not let the limitations of the flesh decide that for you. You will decide that.
Yeah. Well, for the listeners, I would also want to say that one thing that the whales have taught me is to work with an emerging chakra somewhere towards the back of the head, slightly behind the back of the head, through which it's possible to access the aspects of yourself that go beyond the personal. So connecting with the planetary, the solar, the galactic, the universal aspects of the self.
It is your path.
Yeah. And this is something that humans are here to learn about. We're here to open possibilities that have been dormant. And it can happen on a very deeply cellular level. So we don't even have to, we think that it's normal for the body to age, to get sick, to die, and so on, or to be limited in time and space, to suffer from lack and limitations. And that's just, we are here to overcome that conditioning. And we're here to remember who we are. We're here to connect with our multidimensionality, to what some people have called taking the rainbow body, the light body, to develop the ability to achieve physical immortality so we can remain in this body if we choose to, or travel in other dimensions, other planetary systems as we choose to, without having to go through the process of disincarnating and reincarnating and disincarnating and reincarnating over and over again.
And this is what you bring. This is your game. This is what you bring.
Mm. Mm.
It's going to get exciting.
Yes.
And for you, it will get exciting. You will have a renewed sense of purpose soon.
Mm.
You will have more aspects of yourself available to you. More knowledge will come to you. It will be like, gosh, I think I forgot that. But it'll be something that you've always had.
I hope.
You will be able to access knowledge that you never had before.
Yeah. I feel that, and I feel like it's a field that's out there and just preparing to come through. And I'm speaking for myself, and I'm also, I think, speaking for many, many other people when I say this, because I talk with people all the time who feel very similar, that they're in between worlds, they're in between phases of life. They're in between the caterpillar and the butterfly. So
Part of it
it's a
is
tricky phase.
your disconnection from the old. You can't help being who you are not to make that connection to the planet. And you have made that connection with the old. But you
Yeah.
need to start making that connection with the new because it's forming. And it is no fault of your own. It is just your natural ability to be able to make that connection to the planet.
Mm.
So, and you'll have help. You have help
Yeah.
coming to help you with this. This is a new vibration to connect with. And you will be a way shower for that new vibration to connect in with that. You'll have new techniques and new resources to pull from that you have developed on other planets that you will be able to use.
Yeah. And I feel like the people who are destined to come together for this next phase will find each other. My sense is there's also going to be land-based communities in special places around the earth, networks, people who are going to be drawn because of something inside themselves. Let's say, yes, this is the time now. It's time to awaken fully. It's time to open to new possibilities, new gifts. It's time to reconnect with other members of the soul family. And yes, I think we're finding each other. And maybe this whole conversation is part of it too.
An idea is a powerful thing.
Mm.
An idea is more powerful than anything than taking that first brick and putting it in place. The idea is more powerful than even that. Lisa's having a hard time holding this really high energy. So if you have another question, you would be
So
happy to answer.
there's no specific question, but anything that you'd like to say from this space of unified light to our audience.
The massive love that is coming, the massive love that is coming to each and every one of you is going to be a magical moment. Everyone's looking for that savior. It's not the savior. Everyone's looking for that. the magical moments within you. And when you make that connection, you will feel that massive love coming. And the massive love comes from your collectivity.
Love is who we are. Well, thank you, Gaia. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, higher self. Thank you, collective. And I thank you all who are watching and experiencing this together.
Wow, Kira, that was wild. I'm numb all over. That is some high energy. That is high frequency you have there. That I've never felt that before. That I'm numb everywhere. That was amazing. And I saw such a vision of you, like your face was the earth. It was you. It was like, there is no separation there. You really know how to do this.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you for the space you
That was
hold.
amazing.
Thank you for the
That
work
was
you do.
amazing. It was fun. I really, I enjoyed that. And I really, saw a lot of visions this time about what this might be like. And just little points of light around the world of the 144,000. And we may not know who they are now, and they may not know who they are, but it's going to come with a bang, and it's going to come with a whisper. And we have so much to look forward to.
Oh. Absolutely. And that's what, feeds my hope. It's like,
and thank you for sharing the whale story with us. Thank your higher self for sharing. That's beautiful that there was this huge line of beings that you were before this. It's huge. And I've spoken to other people's higher selves, but not like that. Like, not the absolute vastness of it. It was like talking to the planet. Maybe you were a planet. I don't know. I didn't ask that. We should have asked if you were a planet somewhere else, because I think that might have been you. I think you could have actually been a planet because it was so big.
Yeah, maybe we could ask this specifically next time.
Yeah, let's ask.
And what that
because
means.
I think that may be true, because there was this huge line of things, and I just, what's all that? It was pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, I think planets are evolving. Gaia is ahead of us, and humans have an integral role
You've
to play.
asked me about her planetary evolution, and there seems to be a choice up front. I don't know what it is. We somehow have to form this unity so we can move on and be a universe, an entire consciousness of a universe. And I have such a loyalty to the Divine Mother. I don't know if I want to do that. I feel like I want to go back to the Divine Mother instead of doing this. And I apparently, because I have incarnated here with you, I have that choice. And I have not made that yet. So
well, I think we have
I don't have enough information. I feel like I don't have enough information to make that.
I think there's sometimes an error that people make about the Divine Mother, as if it's someone beyond as if it's something transcendental.
Yeah.
But I see that Gaia, I see each cell within our bodies. I see everything we encounter in this dimension, on the third dimensional plane, as well as other dimensional levels, as aspects of the Divine Mother. So within matter, she exists. In fact, matter is
Mhm.
mother. Mater in Greek is
Mhm.
mother.
Mhm.
And we forget that. We create this hierarchy, this split between matter and spirit. And that's never meant to be, was never meant to be.
You see, I see a separation between, right now, I see this strange separation. I see us as, I see humanity as an emerging, evolving thing, whereas the Divine Mother is part of the omnipresent oneness, and she is of service to evolution. And that giant planet, that ship that I described, is part of her service. She is of service, and I have been of service for almost all my existence. I can't imagine evolving,
Mm.
because I don't have to evolve. But apparently I'm here to do that, and it's so weird for me. So I don't have to, like, I have to make some kind of choice where I want to go after this, and I don't have enough information to make that choice yet.
Yeah. I think that's a choice that many of us are in the midst of now. What it
Yeah,
means to be embodied, what it means to evolve,
yeah,
what it means to become a vehicle for Divine Mother.
yeah.
And is God herself or itself or himself in evolution.
I see God as the observer.
Yeah.
I don't, I see it just is. It's the observer. It helps create all things, all life, all matter, all consciousness. But I see it as just the observer.
Yeah. So the Divine Mother is what, moves out from this observational
Yeah.
essence and then creates multiplicity.
She's of service, and the Divine Father, if you're from the Divine Father, you're a soul that's evolving. And if you're from the Divine Mother, you are that soul that is of service.
Mhm.
You probably don't evolve, although you can choose to do that, because choice is the highest law.
Yeah. And
Of,
maybe they're not so
yeah.
separate from each other.
I don't think they're that separate, but I think I've just done this for so long that I can't conceive of moving on. So I don't know if it's a block for me, but I feel like I don't have enough information in this physical reality to make any kind of a decision. So did you get the answers from your higher aspect that you kind of expected, or was there any surprises there?
No, it's a confirmation of what I know.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
grateful. I'm grateful
Oh,
to know.
good.
Yeah.
So it's coming, Kiara. It'll be interesting to see what's coming for you and what comes through for you and all of us, really.
All of us. Yeah.
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 And we're finding each other. All of
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
So, well, let's end on that note.
Yeah.
Just so we don't have, I know people like to watch bite-size
Yeah. Yeah. Our attention
videos.
span is getting shorter.
So,
Yeah. All
yeah.
right.
So we'll
Thank
continue.
you.
We'll continue next
Yeah.
week.
Okay.
All
Bye-bye
right.
now. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Lisa.
Bye-bye.
Bye.